Okay, so this is a completely unexpected upload, but I had to share. I got a hankering for a chocolate muffin that I get in this area, and it could be a little bit on the expensive side, but the way they make muffins today, they're so big. But I said, there's got to be a way that I could sort of duplicate this chocolate bread feel, chocolate muffiny feel. The only thing is theirs has chocolate chips, okay? And one could add chocolate chips if they wish to. I was out of chocolate chips. So I said I still have a hankering for it, but I don't feel like spending close to $4 tomorrow morning for one of those muffins. Instead, for the price of the ingredients that I already have, I said, let me try to put something together, and it actually worked out. So I just thought I'd share this with you. Look carefully at the thumbnail and you'll see how delicious this will be. So if you sort of like a chocolate loaf or chocolate bread type of a recipe, um, you have the option to add chocolate chips if you want. I didn't happen to have it. Another ingredient that I did not happen to have was, as I usually not hardly ever have, brown sugar. To be honest with you, I have no luck with brown sugar because no matter what, it always clumps up. So I just pretty much like, and I use it so infrequently. But you see, the thing is that's impressive about this bread. I'm going to give you the recipe below, so you don't have to worry. Just look down the description, and I will enter the recipe for it. But I have to say, this was delicious. So I'll let you know the ingredient pantry. This is why it's so important to keep a stockpile. Sometimes you get a hankering for something. Like I said, I don't feel like spending $4 for that muffin. For the cost of all the ingredients that I already have, I put this thing together. It did not take long at all whatsoever. As a matter of fact, it's a very chilly night here in New York City, so I didn't mind running my oven for the 50, including the time to take to preheat. So I said, this is going to be really good for your treat. Once a week, I like to treat myself to a special dessert or a special a cookie or that type of thing. It's unrealistic to think you're never going to have a cookie. You're never going to have a piece of bread. It's to me in my life anyway. It's unrealistic. So that's why I designate it as my weekend treat this time. I cannot believe how good this came out. So I just thought I'll mention the ingredients to you, and this may be of interest to you, and also the quantity. This is what worked for me. And that's why I strongly suggest you could put together so many things. All right. So I got the store brand of it, and it works just as good as the fancy schmancy brand. I had the store brand of cocoa powder. Unsweetened cocoa powder is what you need for this. A half a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. And I used 2 cups of all-purpose flour. All right. Now, more or less, many of these kinds of breads, you need the brown sugar. Some want a little bit of brown, a little bit of white sugar. All I had was white granulated sugar. And the old rule of thumb, work with what you have, okay? Especially in the frugal world. To me, it's just a very ever so slight difference. You taste a little bit of a molasses feel with the brown sugar. But in a pinch, you could certainly just go with the white granulated sugar, and that I had plenty of because recently it was on sale. And take 3 guesses. Yours truly stocked up on it. Hello. So we have the half a cup of cocoa, the 2 cups of all-purpose flour, the 1 cup of white granulated sugar, or by choice, you could half it with the brown sugar and half it with the white sugar. It's not 100% necessary, in my opinion. Let me see what else I did. I use 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Now, if there's any essential ingredient not to forget to keep in your baking pantry specifically, it's baking powder. It's baking powder. You could do so many things with that. I use let me see what else I use here. And I use actually a teaspoon of salt, regular salt. So a teaspoon of that. Wait a minute. Let me double check on that. Do, 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 do. Yeah. What is that what I did? Yes. All right. 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay. And 2 eggs. They're whole eggs. Okay. 1 cup of milk, and you could equivocate that rather to 8 ounces, and a half cup of oil. Okay. This particular one, what I always notice, and it came out just like that chocolate $4 muffin, which is a joke. 1 muffin, $4. When I got a gorgeous loaf out of it, and I could cut slices, which I did. As a matter of fact, I cut the loaf up and I froze the majority of it already to have available for next weekend. So I cut out 2 slices for this weekend, one for tomorrow morning when I wake up with my 25-cent cup of Joe. I don't just talk about frugality. I live frugality, okay? And I have fun with it. So I literally had a ball putting this thing together, of course, hoping and praying that it comes out right. I kind of regretted not having the chocolate chips, but I'm with some crushed walnuts with some crushed walnuts without it, no fancy schmancy. See, that's the beauty part. All right. So here's what you need. I'm just going to repeat it. You're going to need all purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of eliminate that 3/4, scratch that. 2 eggs, whole eggs, 1 cup of milk, 8 ounces, half a cup of oil. What I did is I had all the liquid ingredients, the eggs, the milk, and I put it to the side. Some people might consider sugar as part of liquid. I don't know why. I've heard that somewhere else a long time ago, but I keep it as a dry ingredient. So all I do is mix all my dry ingredients, and then I entered my liquid ingredients. Now, here's the thing though, okay? What I did with my loaf pan, I lined it up with aluminum foil. All right. So all I did after it cooled, it out, and then it just plated it up. For me, that made my life a lot easier. And you're going to notice something when you're mixing this together. Okay, when I did it manually. Fork and a whisk or whatever. I'm telling you, this thing is not thin. This batter is not like a syrupy batter at all whatsoever. It comes out thickly. It comes out richly. And I use regular milk. Some recipes sometimes call for buttermilk. I don't keep buttermilk in the house, and it happened to be, but that's okay. And I said, after it was done, I let it cool off. So funny. I popped that thing in the oven. I called a friend. I mean, at the time of my phone call, that thing was baking off, and it was so simple to assemble. So simple. So more than likely, everyone listening probably has cocoa powder, unsweetened. If not, then hopefully one day you'll pick it up. 2 cups of all-purpose, and the 3/4 of, again, why I keep saying 3/4? Scratch that, Janet. The teaspoon of salt, the 2 eggs, a cup of regular milk, and a half a cup of oil, and it came out really, really good. But if you're blessed to have had your chocolate chips available, whatever, this is something you might decide to do. tomorrow morning, which is like one of my favorite things to have on a Sunday morning. Not every single Sunday morning, but it's always an option. But nah, add all the ingredients and it basically tastes like they do with you. I'm going to type into the description how to make this. It's just so simple. It's not even funny. All right, everybody, have an amazing, fantastic day. And like I said, go take again another look at the thumbnail to see what you would be getting into. If you happen to make this chocolate loaf, please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much. Have a great day.